prey species up ahead. So quite a lot of predators will do that. They will use high ground, so he's climbed up to the high ground so you can see down on the slope to the west of us. So we're still following the quarantine young male leopard. He's quite hungry. We saw him have a dash at an animal. We couldn't see what it was, but he missed, and then he started bounding after a duiker, but from far too long away, and the duiker saw him and disappeared in this general direction. And now he's moved, because duiker generally won't run very far before they stop, and now he's using a termite mound to get a bit of height to see if anything else is around. There we go. Isn't that wonderful? He's so close to us at the moment. He's probably 3 meters from where we're sitting now. So he's using this termite mound as a vantage point to see if there's any potential prey species. Oh, isn't he a good looking boy? This is quite a difficult block that he's taking us through. So I'm going to try and move again now to keep up with him. More open area, using the thick bush that we're coming through as the approach. Standing by. So he's sitting, listening, maybe trying to see if he can hear any potential prey species in that direction. This is the right time of the day to be sitting with an animal like a leopard, especially one who's a bit hungry. So he started hunting. And we must thank Scott and Steph, who tracked and found this leopard for us. While we were working in the southern sections, they were working here in the north, and they tracked and found this leopard and then called us and got me on the radio and said, "You gotta move, he's moving." So big thank you to Scott and Steph. stations. I'm still with him. He's now mobile almost due west towards Sydney's. Hey firm, we're still in the thickets, but I can hear the plovers calling, so I don't think we're too far ahead of us whatsoever. Can you hear hippos in the distance? So apparently, everyone in the US, we had a bit of a technical difficulty. Welcome back. We're still with the quarantine male leopard, and he is in hunting mode this evening. He's looking a bit hungry. We saw him charge off and miss something a little bit earlier, but now he is moving through this thicket and actively searching for prey. We are going to come out to a bit more open area just now. Until then, we will stick with him, and I can starting to see he is moving towards slightly more open area where there could be impala. Standing by. If I'm still with him, he's just sat down now, but he's going to be coming out to those quarries soon, I think. Negative. Just head probably straight east from where you are, and you'll find us. Looks like, I think he spotted some guinea fowl. I thought I saw a guinea fowl or francolin in the grass there. You might try flush them. Just keep a little bit wide, but keep on him. Keep on him. He got one. Oh, he nearly got. Oh my goodness, that was amazing. He just leapt like 3 meters in the air after that guinea fowl. I saw him hit one in the air, and then he let it go. I'm not sure if he got it again on the second jump. That was absolutely incredible. No, you missed. Oh, you silly leopard. That was actually absolutely incredible. So he went for those guinea fowl. I said, I think he's going to see guinea fowl. I just tried to move to get in the right position, and he nearly got one. He jumped into the air. I saw him hit one guinea fowl in the air. He knocked it to the ground, and then it sort of started getting away from him, and then it started taking off, and then he jumped. He must have gone, I don't know, 2 meters up and 3 meters across, and he just missed it. That was absolutely unbelievable. Negative. He bumbered it, the Mangela in the air, and then dropped it, and then tried to bumber it out of the air again. That was so close. Told you he was on. He's definitely in the hunting mood. And not giving up yet. I mean, he took off and did at least, he must have done about at least 4 meters in the air. That's such a pity for him, because he would. Luck, but it was so close. I mean, he got it down. Oh, that one took me on the forehead. I apologize. Touched a branch as we were going through that thicket, so I apologize. On our northern boundary now, unfortunately, it looks like he's going to cross straight out of our traverse area. But we've been lucky enough to spend the majority of the afternoon with him. Sorry. Johan, make your way. I'm going to leave the area. So he's crossing over our northern boundary. We're not going to be able to follow him any further than this. But what an amazing and exciting sighting that was. I mean, to see a leopard leaping like that was incredible. Cheers. Thanks very much. Huh?
You guys want to get in?
Thanks very much. I wish. Cheers, guys. Enjoy.
Oh, thanks, man. Lovely.
Cheers. And there he disappears, the final white tip of the tail. Wow, I'm like in a big adrenaline rush high. That was absolutely incredible. I mean, leaping through the air. Wow, that was fantastic. Pity he didn't catch the guinea fowl, but I mean, he grabbed it in the air, and then as he hit the ground, he sort of lost it again, and the guinea fowl scuttled off, and then he just Superman leap, full body extension, and he went. Oh, he must have gone 4 or 5 meters, diagonally, and at least 2.5, 3 meters up in the air to try and recatch that guinea fowl. It's sort of like no. It is quite a nice sunset this evening. Thank you very much, stations. Enjoy. Good evening, Mature on email. Welcome on Sunset Drive this evening. To let you know, Mature would like to know if new males were born into this area. Is there enough space in this area for them, or would they have to leave the area? Well, Mature, even this young male we've been watching now, he's going to have to leave the area quite shortly. He's about 28 months now. So same thing will happen if the female territory, and then what happens to a young male leopard at that stage? He becomes very nomadic, and being very nomadic, he will sort of skirt around. And that's one of the reasons they have to leave their native area. It helps to control inbreeding in the animals. So that's a natural way to control inbreeding. So all male leopards that are born in the area will have to eventually move out normally. I hope that helps, Mature. So we're going to head east now, see what else we can find. See if my nerves calm down a bit after this. Area. So we're heading east down our northern boundary. See what else we can find. We'll maybe head down towards Buffalo's Hook Dam. Maybe look for the elephants. The elephant track seems to be heading in that general direction. Wasn't that an amazing sighting? I'm still on such a high from it. So what happened is that Scott and Stefan went tracking in the northern section of the property, and we were down south, and they called me on the radio saying they'd found this male leopard and on the move already. So we got there. As we got there, So we have Scott and Steph to thank for finding that leopard. We're going to try catch up with them a little bit later, and they can explain what happened and how they found it. So they were tracking it, and we were tracking in the south. They were in the north. They called me, said, "Come, you got to get here. This leopard's on the move," and he looks hungry. So we stopped tracking down there, and we sped up to the north. And I mean, what a sighting we were blessed with. Speaking of that. Stefan coming. Steph, do you copy? Scott or Steph, do you copy? So it looks like they're not answering the radio, so they must be on foot tracking again. So just, if any of you guys are new, you are live, you're seeing what I'm seeing in real time, and we are interactive, so you can send me questions, and the way to do that is to either use the email address questions@WildEarthTV, or you can use the hashtag Safari Live if you're on Twitter. So I'm a bit at a loss what to do after all that excitement. I think we're going to maybe slowly meander towards the hyena den, nice and cool. Maybe the cubs are out. See what else we can find. Scott, copy. Scott, what's your position? Sorry, didn't copy the last update. Could I make my way there? Oh yeah, I'm in Vubu Central Junction now. So it looks like we might be able to catch up with Scott and Steph just now, just trying to find out where they are, and we're going to start slowly moving towards that area. We are going to still keep checking for stuff. Hopefully we find something else to see on the way. What a fantastic evening. Temperature's dropped a little bit now. It's almost at that sort of perfect temperature where it's not too hot, not too cold. Hopefully we can find another cat in this nice cool weather. I don't know if my heart can take any more excitement. So we're going to start heading east again, see what else we can find. It's been a fantastic little interlude in the north, but my gut tells me there's going to be some action in the east, so we're going to head that way. Just the most magical time of the day as the sun gets low in the sky. The bush almost changes its smell at this time of the day. The dust seems to, I don't know, you seem to smell it more. You can definitely smell some of the plants more. You can smell a bit of wild sage, and I'm quite sure as we get near the drainage line we're going to have a very strong smell of potato bush. And for those of you who haven't heard what a potato bush is before, it's a plant that smells like mashed potato. And strangely, when you break a branch and you try to smell it, you smell nothing. But if you break that branch and then leave it in someone's room, it makes their whole room smell of mashed potatoes. And I can attest that it's been done to me before, and it's actually not as pleasant as it sounds to have your room constantly smelling like mashed potatoes, because you never leave it where someone can see it, and you'll put a couple of branches under the bed, behind the cupboards. Some of the more innocent jokes we used to pull on each other in our ranger days. There were a few more naughty ones, but we won't go into those. So, we've just spotted a pearl-spotted owlet, it looked like. He just flew across the front of us. If he turns his... There we go. A beautiful little owl. One of the smallest owl species in the area. Pearl spots. You can see the little spots where he gets his name from, the white pearl spots. was that I didn't see the white spots on the shoulder initially, and also he doesn't have the fake eyes on the back of the head, so he hasn't flown off too far. I think it's going to be a bit difficult to get a visual. There he is. So I think we're going to continue on. What a nice little, beautiful little animal, the barred owlet. So I'm going to show you the difference now between the pearl-spotted owlet and the barred owlet, which are the two ones we can get confused with. They're both almost identical in size. Didn't notice any of those white spots on the shoulder, and also false eyes. So when we looked at the barred owlet, it's slightly bigger, but the other giveaway is the fact he did not have those false eyes that the pearl spotted has, and this very rufous barring on the tail, and they both have that sort of white, but it was the fact no bars on the head, bars on the head and no fake eyes, and the rufous barring on the tail. Wonderful, wonderful little birds. They tend to live more around sort of riverine areas and drainage lines than pearl spotteds. So we are on the edge of a drainage line. Different habitat, and they you often find them because they're being mobbed by other birds. So no other birds really like predators in the area, so drongos and that will dive bomb them and chase them. But what an incredibly beautiful little owl. Steph going? What's your position? Sorry, Steph, please can you go again? Between Central and Leadwood, or? Copy, thank you. So apparently lots and lots of you have been worrying about what's happened to the jigger. The jigger got a little bit sick, I'm afraid. So jigger got ill. Jigger's gone to the auto doctor for a full engine replacement to increase its reliability when it comes back. So hopefully the jigger will be back shortly and spick and span and a lot more reliable than it was in the past. So there's the update on the jigger. Unfortunately, jigger got a little sick and had to go visit the doctor. slowly making our way towards where Scott and Steph are. So hopefully we can catch up with them shortly. Good evening, Eleanor. We have a question from Eleanor. Eleanor would like to know, she's heard that bushbuck are more common than in Nyala in Africa. Is this true at Djuma? Oh, well, Eleanor, at Djuma I'd say Nyala are more common than bushbuck. The reason bushbuck are more common than in Nyala in the rest of Africa, they have a much bigger distribution. They occur from the southern tip of Africa all the way through the majority, or through Zimbabwe, Zambia, Botswana, Mozambique, tip of Africa, all the way through the majority, or through Zimbabwe, Zambia, Botswana, Mozambique. Good evening, Catherine from Texas. Welcome on a sunset drive with us. Catherine, I would like on a sunset drive with us. Catherine, I would like to know, do we get a lot of different lizards in the area? Could I just name a few and explain a few? We do, Catherine. We get some very big lizards, like your monitor lizards. We've got rock monitors and water monitors. We have giant plated lizards. We have bushveld plated lizards. We have also a lot of different types of skinks, striped skinks, and then also geckos. I think the most common we've got here is the African half-toed gecko, but there are quite a lot of other species. Oh, look what I found! I found a Scott and a Steph. Looks like they're not even working. They're just sitting around lazing about. Sitting around lazing about. Lazy buggers. Well, welcome. We've got to say a big thank you to Scott and Steph for finding us that leopard we saw. I don't know if you guys heard, but we had quite an incredible sighting after you guys left.
We did, yeah. Tell us some more about it.
No, well, just to let everyone know who might have just logged in. So we were checking down in the southern part of the reserve, and Scott and Steph were tracking in the north, and they got me on the radio and they said they found a leopard. So I said, great, I'm on my way. And then they said, no, he's on the move, you got to get moving. So I got moving, and they led us to the leopard, and once we got there, they went off to go try find more leopard, I'd presume. And we were following him, and like literally 5 minutes after we got there, he started stalking, and he charged off and we couldn't see what he was after, but missed. And then another about 6 minutes later, he sort of, the diker saw him way before he saw the diker, and so he sort of did that sort of half attempt, sort of like Tigger from Winnie the Pooh, pounce, pounce, pounce. And then we're very lucky in our little cars, we managed to get through there, and a lot of the other vehicles didn't, so they all went around to go wait on the fire break, and it was just us with him. And suddenly he saw this flock of guinea fowl about 15 meters from him. So we just tried to move to get in position, and he sort of ran into the flock of guinea fowl, saw him grab one, it must have been 2.5 meters in the air. No. He grabbed it, he brought it down and let it go. And the guinea fowl took off again, and then he jumped, he's sort of full Superman. Like he must have gone for about 4.5, 5 meters at about 2.5 meters, sort of straight up like that, and missed. and then just landed there and sort of sat there looking quite sorry for himself afterwards.
That's incredible.
No, it was amazing.
I've never seen a leopard pluck anything out of there. So.
It was so close. Like, well, but anyway, that's what happens. And you guys, what else have you guys been up to? How did you find him? Sorry, I'm just going to move a bit closer. Sorry guys, I'm just going to put my mic next to Scott and Steph so you guys can hear them nicely.
There you go. Hello everybody. Hope you're enjoying your safari. So we actually left the camp and then found some tracks on the road, literally 2 minutes after we left the camp today. And it took us a while to track him down the road. The surface changed, and it was going from hard sand to soft sand to rocks and up and down drainage lines. And then we split up. We were on foot and we split up to have a look for some tracks, and Scott bumped into him on foot. And I walked to Scott, who was looking at the leopard on foot, and we stood there watching him, with him watching us, for 5 minutes. And he hunted some francolin while we were standing there watching him, and then...
He's in the mood for poultry.
Yeah. And then we got back to the radio and we managed to call you in, and so...
Thanks very much, guys. Oh, nice. Always nice to find a leopard on foot.
It is indeed.
So what are your plans from here, gentlemen?
I think we're going to slowly head back towards camp. It's that stage of the evening. But it might be worth looping around this area. We did have some tracks of another female leopard here.
Okay.
So that might be worth following up on.
Well, thanks very much, guys. Nice to catch up with you. Thanks again for the leopard.
No problem.
I'm in your debt. I think I'm going to owe them a few beers when we get to camp today for finding us that leopard.
Exactly.
Have a good rest of your evening, guys. Cool. We're going to march on, fight the good fight. Toodle-doo. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
So there's. So at least they weren't just sitting around doing nothing. They did say there are tracks of a female leopard in this area. So we're going to have a quick squiz around. So, for anyone who might be a bit new, Stefan is for all the questions about when he was coming back. As you can see, he's back. So, really good to have Steph back here. Really, really great addition to the team. We love having him back with us. And it's always great when we have new guides that come in and out, because we all learn from each other constantly. Everyone's got sort of very specific set of skills and knowledge about certain things. So it's very, very great. It's wonderful to be able to learn from each other. There's another tough day in my office, guys. So we're going to loop around this block now, where Scott and Steph all have a quick look at the sky quickly. Isn't it beautiful? Also helps, we'll probably do what Scott and Steph are doing just now, is you sit quietly and you listen for any alarm calls. But we are going to loop around this block here where they had female leopard tracks. Another tough day in the office. I don't know how I get up and do this every morning, guys. Really. Oh no, I'm one of those very, very lucky people who can say I actually do really love my job. Betty, welcome on Sunset Safari. Betty from Canada would like to know, how dangerous is it for a tracker to sit on the front of the vehicle, and if in a dangerous situation, what can they do? Well, Betty, the animals don't really see the tracker as separate from the vehicle, like they don't really see us as separate from the vehicle. They just see the vehicle, and they can obviously hear it, smell it and whatnot. So generally in this area, the trackers are completely safe on the vehicle. I think the most dangerous thing for a tracker is that he might fall off. But if he's got a good guide who doesn't irritate animals, he's completely safe. And what he can do is, if he doesn't, he can just scramble across the bonnet and jump in the front seat. So we're just checking carefully around this area where Scott and Steph had female leopard tracks. Let's see if it pops out. And this is quite a good area for Karula. And as we said, we've been wanting to see her. Karula, for those of you who don't know, might be new, is the dominant female leopard in this area. And we have a suspicion she might be pregnant. The last time we saw her, it was a bit early to tell. So now we're very interested. We haven't seen her for a while, so we're quite interested to be able to see her again, to see if she is pregnant. I do love this time of day. Getting a bit cool, so I think not quite cold enough for my jacket yet, but definitely time for the shuka. There we go, much better. Very good. Yes. Stylish and practical is what we've decided is. So we're checking our eastern boundary now. So Steph and Scott found tracks of a female leopard coming in from the east. But she doesn't look like she's come out. She might have been zigzagging, hunting through the block. So we're going to drop down on the next road, see if we find any sign of her coming out. we've got a question in from Barbara in Maryland. Welcome on a sunset safari, Barbara. So Barbara is asking about the owlet we saw earlier, and the owls we've seen before. She wants to know whether they are nightjars. No, they are not. Nightjars, here we go, there's a nightjar. It's completely unrelated to the owls. It's a hawking bird that is a nocturnal bird that feeds on insects. Completely not related to the owls. You can see it's a completely different body shape. It is not a predator like the owl. The owls we saw today was this one, number 4, a barred owlet. Normally the most common one we see of the little owl species is number 3, a pearl spotted owlet, but number 4, the barred owlet is the one we see today. On other owl species we get in this area, number 2, which is a southern white-faced scops. We get those in these areas, so that's 3. We get number 1, which is an African scops owlet. That's the smallest owl. It's only 15 centimeters. Number 1. So how many is that now? 4. And then we'll get spotted eagle owl in this area as well. Number 3. And then on 5, we get Verreaux's eagle or giant eagle owl. So on 6, and we will get number 7, African wood, and then on 5 we get Verreaux's eagle or giant eagle owl. So on 6, and we yeah. So I hope that, Barbara, answers your questions on owls in the area. I know I mentioned earlier that I might go through to the hyena den. I heard over the radio someone else went and checked and the hyena den wasn't active. Just in case any of you are wondering why I didn't go check up on the hyena den, is that I already heard it wasn't active. But I mean, it has been an absolutely fantastic drive this evening. We have to thank Steph and Scott for that wonderful sighting of the quarantine. He was a young male leopard. I think as I was driving across there, I decided I think we should drive due west into the setting sun. So we've got the spotlight out. We might catch a brief glimpse of some of the more smaller nocturnal mammals. Hopefully we do. And just we won't ever shine on your diurnal mammals like impala and zebra and it's for predators. And as I've said earlier today, we don't want to interfere in its natural state. But nocturnal mammals whose eyes work slightly differently, we will definitely have a look at those. So there we go. In the road is a nightjar. I'm not going to keep the light on it for too long, but there's a nightjar. So you can see that looks nothing like an owl, and is a completely separate species, and it's a hawker. So basically it'll sit, the reason it likes to sit on open roads like that is it's flying above against the open sky, and it will then catch those insects. And all your nocturnal bird species, specifically owls and nightjars, have those really, really big eyes to catch as much light as possible to improve their night vision. Look at that magnificent sky in the background. Slowly moving back down towards the Moati drainage. The sun is setting. We've had an absolutely epic afternoon. Oh, sorry, sunset drive. We were treated to probably some of the more interesting leopard behavior I've seen in a while. It would have been quite funny if he had caught that guinea fowl. We would have seen him with for Mr. Quarantine. Able to jump. Good evening, G from North Carolina. So maybe what? Another half of me? So yeah, maybe even as close as 3 meters. 3 meters off the ground and diagonally for about 4.5, 5 meters. It was absolutely incredible. They are such amazing athletes. You might just lose my signal for a second as I dip through this low area, but I'll be out of it in 2 ticks. Thank you very, very much for joining us on this sunset safari. It has been an amazing afternoon. From all of us here at Wild Earth, thanks very much for joining us. It's such a special privilege for us to be able to share our passion for the African bushveld with you all over the world. And just a little note, how amazing was that leopard sighting? He did give us a bit of a hard time jinking through that very, very thick bush, but we stuck with him. And as I often say, the best weapon in your arsenal when you're in the bush is patience. And we were rewarded with an incredible sighting, and we need to thank Scott and Steph for that, because they went and tracked him. And it seems like a lot of you guys are wondering quite a lot about Steph. So just a little bit of information on him. Well, Steph, Scott and myself all at one time worked for a certain safari company that's not too far from here. He's been in the bush for many years. I think he's been guiding since 1999. He's also probably one of the most experienced trails guides in the country. At the moment, he's been doing quite a lot of different projects and an incredibly experienced and incredibly knowledgeable guy who's an unbelievable addition to the team. We're very excited to have him. And if you do want any more information with him, I'm pretty sure his bio is now up on the Wild Earth website, so you can have a look for Steph's bio at www.wildearth.tv. Other than that, from myself here, it's been a fantastic evening. I took so long for my heart to come down, but from us here, good night and have a wonderful day.